your data, your privacy, your security. Privacy Check-in Podcast.
Welcome to Privacy Check-in. My name is Felicita, your host, and today I have wonderful guests, Patel and John Murray Altema. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I want you to tell me something a little bit about yourself. Starting with you, John Murray.
I'm a tech expert. I started as a analyst programmer. I work in the telecom industry. I also work in the tourism industry, and I founded the Music Tech Conference, which is now the AI Music Tech Conference and trade show. We love technology. We love sharing with people what we know, and also learn from people.
That's pretty exciting because that's how we met. In your tech
Exactly.
conference, you asked me to
Yeah.
speak.
Yeah.
And I was so nervous. I'm like, oh my God, the Music Tech Conference. And I think it was either the Grammys or some type of.
It was during the week of the Grammy, and we also talked about hospitality. Yeah, how AI and music can enhance guest experience.
Yeah, that was actually that's actually pretty fun. And then Anita, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm Anital. I'm founder of Minerva Tech, and we help businesses. We're technology trusted advisory, and we help businesses procure technology. So really navigating the noise within the technology field and helping businesses procure the right solutions for solving problems within their business and really helping them grow their businesses and helping decision makers make the right strategic decisions. We partner with over 350 vendors all across the telco space, AI, cybersecurity, and I've been in telco and technology around for over 25 years.
Oh, wow.
And I like to think myself as a little bit of an expert and a matchmaker for technology. That's
Nice.
it.
Yeah, I love that. And I imagine you're super busy because with all this technology coming in, artificial intelligence, everybody's busy. All the organizations.
Easy.
Yeah,
Easy.
there's a lot of companies doing a lot of things, and so very busy figuring out who does what solutions and products for what types of businesses.
Yeah.
There's a lot of noise in the market right now for AI, cybersecurity, lots of different things. Yeah.
You know that's why today we're going to be talking about user guest experience. So I think this is a perfect opportunity to talk about that. But I wanted to know a little bit of the pain points that are happening right now. And John, I wanted to ask you this because I know you have more experience in the hospitality industry. What are the pain points that you're seeing with guest user data?
Guest experience is like how to make your guests happy, right? And for that, you need data. You need to know who is who, right? You need to know what your guests need when they have to share personal data, right? Like a lot of questions about where do you live, how many kids you have, or like passport information. Is that relevant or not? Because they know that those data can be used for marketing. So that kind of thing that I think I guess are looking at, and also the way the marketers use those data to send emails or whatever, text messages, and sometimes they feel not comfortable with that. But also when there is a data breach, it's like they feel uncomfortable because they don't know what happened with their personal data.
Yeah. You know, how I think about it, if I'm a guest, I'm going on vacation, I'm in a hotel, I just want to relax. Like, I don't want to be bothered by that. I want to actually join the Wi-Fi and just relax in the bed and then go to the pool. However, yes, sometimes we do think, I do think well, am I logging into a secure Wi-Fi connection but at the same time, I am from security, but not everybody actually comes from security. So not everybody thinks that. So I believe that this comes all the way from the top, from the organizations who are providing in the hospitality industry, who are providing the technology or also the privacy notices for the clients to make it easier for them. Anita, I know you have experience with working with organizations and executives with their IT solutions. Have you seen firsthand on how they apply this in order for it to be easier and more understandable for users?
So data is really key, and everyone has it. It's the new oil. Yeah. And so it's how we manage it within business organizations and how we use it, and becoming compliant depending on, the industry that you're in. So hospitality, there's certain compliances that need to happen with the data. It is really around ensuring that the data's safe, and that if the client has opted out or doesn't want any notifications from you, those sort of things, that you're obliging by that privacy. And then safety of data really is around ensuring that you've got it stored correctly, that you're backing up correctly, and that you can retrieve data correctly. And yeah, there's lots of different ways that it needs to happen within an organization to ensure that the data is safe, and that we make sure that organizations are compliant as well within data and where it's stored, for instance. So depending on GDPR or the new California
CCPA.
Yes. So really thinking about those things as well. Where's your data stored? What are you doing with it? And how are you using it?
That's pretty interesting. And I think that that's more on the organizational level. A lot of users, they don't know this, right? The guests
Right.
don't
They
know
don't.
this information. And sometimes like I said, and I'll put myself as an example again, you go in through the terms of, when using the Wi-Fi, and it's like a long book of, and
You
who
don't read
reads
it.
that? Yeah.
Where's the
You
click
can't
button?
access if you reject that.
Just want to click there.
I just want to go to the beach and have fun. So I think that there has to be ways to kind of inform the guest. But then I understand now a little bit more of how the organizations, like you were explaining, apply the solutions, which they should have opt-outs, like you mentioned. But I did wanted to know a little bit more, John Marie, because the hospitality industry is so big. Do you know if you have heard any guests talking about like that they want to know more, like they want to have more experience on understanding security, or is that's not the case? They just want this to be simplified and be done with.
That's important. As you said, you travel, you want your experience to be seamless. That's the point. And to do that, that means for the provider, like the hotels or the restaurants where you're going, they can provide you with the security that you should have. And it's I have seen organizations like the big names that do a lot of progress, right, in this direction. But you also have the small hotels. It's a big concern because for a big name in the industry, it's easier to have everything, all the infrastructure that they need to provide a seamless experience to the guest. But also, some of them don't have the capacity to provide, the services, like bringing strong infrastructure, right? Robust infrastructure to provide the service. When you travel, the first thing you do, you go online and you look for information. You get a lot of things before you travel. Also, the hotel wants to have more information about you because they want to know what you want. They want to know what you're looking for. The hotels had made a lot of progress, but also guests are requesting more. How can you simplify this?
Yeah, that's true, because
It's to balance.
if we think about it, like for example, we go on a cruise. Like my grandma goes on a cruise and my mom all the time, every year, like 3-4 times a year. Oh my gosh. And I love it. I'm very happy for them. But they do come back and tell me, oh my God, I wanted to use my points to get drinks, or I wanted to use my points to eat in the cruise. So how would how would they know, like the companies, to get this information? Like, what does my grandma like? What does my mom like, in order for them to have an excellent vacation? So of course, with our data, like with their data, they will know exactly what to offer them, what to steer them with. When they have their points, when they see how many points they have, hey, this is where you can actually go, and what you can do, because this is what you like. And this, we got this information from the data that has been collected. However, they don't know that. They
They
don't know.
don't care.
Yeah,
Sometimes they don't
so
care. But some people care about.
yeah,
You
so
know,
people
some
who understand this.
Yeah.
Because I have seen people that do care. They care so much that they're like, no, I'm gonna send my information and I need to opt out. Wipe my data from your records. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think to Jean-Marie's point is that, there is data being collected. And to your point, it really depends whether the user wants to opt in or out, whether you want your data to be collected, right? And so businesses need to abide by that. And then what do they do with the data? There's so many things that you can do with data, right? And it is about the AI aspect as well, right? So it's customer experience. So it really depends on the user of like, how much data are you going to give a business and how much are you going to trust that business with your data, okay? But then it's all around ethical behavior for businesses as well, and the compliances of what are you going to do with your data, that customer data. If you're going to use the data for a great customer experience for your customer that's coming into your property, business, whatever it may be, to give them a better stay in their hotel or whatever, those things, then yeah, I think the client or the customer would understand that. Yeah. And so we can use AI to build different systems and apps and things like that to seamlessly allow that customer experience. So around that data, but then it's about with that data, are you giving it to someone else?
Yes.
Yeah,
Right. And then is the customer getting lots of other stuff that they don't want? So, and then are you compliant as well? Because if you're giving it to someone else and they're not compliant, then you're not becoming compliant. So there's so many different things around what you can and cannot do with the data. And ultimately it's, does the customer want to give you that data as well?
True.
And then the other thing, just to your point around different organizations being able to manage that and the infrastructure, I absolutely think that there's infrastructure and availability for everyone to ensure that they can manage their data correctly and make sure that they have secure Wi-Fi correctly and all of those things to really protect their customers. And technology really is becoming very affordable for businesses now.
True.
Small, medium, and large. And that you just need to find the right solution. Yeah.
But you mentioned two things that are very interesting. First is we'll talk about the user, which is transparency. Organizations need to be transparent of what they're doing with the client's data.
Yeah.
But then when we talk about the organizational level, you're talking about AI, which is a hot topic.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be in that bandwagon, and we should.
Yeah, absolutely.
We should. But then we have to think about what are we doing with this data, which is what you were speaking about. And one of the things that I always talk about is it all starts from the top, from you in the services that you provide, actually, which you actually look to see which tools align with their business goal, I guess, right? So once that's done, and they're going to go through sourcing, and then we're going to go through the vendor management program, which is let's see, what do we need this tool for? Who needs it? And then what type of access it needs? And let's do our risk monitoring on it. And see if we're going to go ahead and purchase this tool. Once we purchase that tool, then you have to, before you purchase that tool, actually, you need to know, is the data being used to train the models, right?
Right.
Can we opt out from that? And do we have the right mechanisms in place in regards to opt-out notices for clients? Do we have a privacy notice that reflects this? Do we have an AI responsibility and transparency statement? So those are,
and does it work?
Exactly.
And does it work?
It's a question of trust. Do you trust your provider? As a guest, if I don't trust the hotel, if I don't trust the platform or whatever they provide, I won't do it. It's a question of trust, because the thing is, you need to trust your provider, because data, as we said, can help you have a seamless experience. Let's say, okay, I want to rent a car. So the company asked me to provide them with my driver's license information, which is good, because when I get there, I have everything ready. It will take me less time. That's kind of thing that I do. I trust the company. I provide them with the information. I think that's the same with hotels, with a restaurant, or whatever.
Yeah.
You need to provide some data.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, because when I think about either going on a cruise or the hotels, I don't mind them having my data, because I want them to choose, like, hey, these are the 5 programs that we're providing that you may love. You may love this destination. You may love this other destination. I love that. Or because I have like my reward points, and they could say, hey, you know what? Based on what you have, uh, booked in the past, here is what you would like. I don't know, a suite, and
Yeah.
hopefully.
Or they can
So-
upgrade. They can upgrade you
It's
too.
an upgrade. You've stayed with us 5 times in the
Yeah.
last 2 years. Here's an upgrade.
Yeah.
Because,
Balcony.
and this is what you like. So,
Yeah.
and you get there and everything, you've got your extra 2 pillows or whatever it may be. Because they know that you've done that before from the data
Yes.
that you've given them, right? And they're providing you a great service.
That's excellent. But
Yeah.
then there's sometimes where I go, like sometimes I'm online and maybe I wanna sign up for something. I'm like, hey, I'm signing up for this only, and I just opt out of everything. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't know you. I just want to get this I don't know, this event that I'm gonna go to. So yeah, I guess we make that choice ourselves. But also, if we did a little bit more due diligence, then we can actually go into the site. We can look at the privacy notice, because they should have one. Actually, if you don't have one, you're not complying with a lot of the regulations, so they should. And not every company has an AI responsibility statement, but they are starting to, and it's okay, actually, by the way, because companies are still adapting. Some companies are not even like yet adapting AI because they're preparing. They're a little bit scared. They want to make sure that they do the right thing. So, yeah, I think the whole AI movement is little by little.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with AI, there's a big shift, right? Everybody wants to do AI.
Yes.
And I always advise my clients, like you've just said, is do it in small stages. So let's see where something not happening right within your business, and let's implement something small, because you don't really want AI across the whole of your platform in your business, because then you may have a huge data breach because you're sending the wrong people the wrong information, because AI is just picking everything up, because sometimes some systems have data everywhere, right? So you kind of need to go in and have a data cleanup first, or ensure that you've got the right systems, and then overlay or build your LLMs or whatever correctly and train them correctly, so that whoever the end user is getting the right information, or you're getting the right reports from the right data. Small steps is like the key thing right now for AI, because every 2 or 3 days it's changing, or maybe every week there's something, it's
Something new
changing.
happening.
So yeah, there's big changes happening. And so small steps, showing some ROI, showing some efficiency within the business, giving the ability for your staff to be more efficient as well, using AI, teaching them how to use AI is really key, because we don't have any compliance right now. The cyber risk is huge as well with AI and all of those. So, and there's no governance right now, right?
Yes.
So really, yeah, great advice in terms of just doing it in small steps and due diligence.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier the capacity, like we have big hotels, they can do it. They can have tech, expert tech, people to develop any kind of solutions that they want. They can maintain, whatever they want to do. But sometimes they have to hire someone else to do it. That's a big concern, because you hire someone who, on his end, can hire someone else, but you don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have the capacity to develop, let's say we talk about bots and whatever you use to get people's data to train your AI or to personalize an experience, which is good for the guest. But also, the big concern is, as you said, compliant. If you are not compliant and your contractor is not compliant,
Yeah.
and it's a big issue. But as we said, what you do with that, how you store those data, what you do with those data. That's the question.
Yeah. I mean, and now that we're talking about that, I know you were talking a little bit about the organizations and what they can do, but what are the best practices that that hospitality industry should have for their guests in regards to, I don't know, going safely into the Wi-Fi? I mean, what do you think that we should tell them in regards to like the best practices that are out there that they can do, because they don't have the awareness as a user, right? Unless you're in security or you're more savvy on the technological side.
So are you talking about what should the user, so an average user going in and connecting to Wi-Fi, what should they be looking out for? So I think in terms of depending, like I would say, if you're going to use public Wi-Fi, don't do your accounts or check into your bank account and things like that, right? So, because it's a public Wi-Fi, anyone can hack into it. So there's two sides of the story. It's like like what are you doing in the public Wi-Fi, and maybe that you should do on a secure network, okay, like your home network and things like that. So don't do all your finances in a Starbucks, basically.
Yes.
Probably really key. And then on the other side of it, as for a business, any business, restaurants, cafes, hotels, is really doing the secure Wi-Fi. So having secure Wi-Fi set up with passwords, right? And then you change it multiple times of the week or the day or whatever it may be, and customers get that in a form, so that nobody just sitting there or using the bathroom or walking or being outside a Starbucks hacking into the network, right?
Yes.
So it's really around having that managed Wi-Fi network as well within your organization, so that and even in offices, not just hospitality. I mean, with hospitality, you'll have like an office, or people will have conferences and things like that. So it's really around having that managed Wi-Fi network within the in the facility, to ensure that you only have the right people connecting to your network, which it prevents data loss, and so that way you're securing yourself and your infrastructure and your network and your data, and you're also securing your user as well. Yeah,
That's perfect, because I know that that's one of the biggest topics that I hear from users, is always talking about like, am I actually logging into a secure Wi-Fi?
But the thing is, you have different kind of guests visiting your hotel.
True.
You have like this generation where they know what to do just in just 1 second. But you also have people, the elder, how to train them, it's not the same platform, but it's good to know how to reach out to them. That's a good point.
That's actually a good
Which
point.
channel do you use? I see it as an ecosystem. Bring more information.
Yes, I think it's
to
both
keep people
sides.
safe.
Like, you have the guests need to like have it's part of their responsibility to be aware of, hey, what's secure and what's not. Making a judgment for yourself, like, should I sign into this, or should I put my information in this place? But then also the organization itself, they need to also have some sort of security awareness information for their guests. I wanted to also bring up a training, because I know we've been talking about security awareness. Training, I think, is also very important, especially when we're talking about AI, and it's in both sides. I'm gonna steer a little bit away from users, and I'm gonna talk about the workforce, which a lot of the workforce they're users, right? And most of them, maybe all of them. But we have to think about how are we training them with security awareness. So are the companies upskilling them, reskilling them, right? That's a huge thing right now. And the reason why I say that is because there's so many, we are actually using AI for everything. ChatGPT, we're using Claude, we're using Gemini, all of these different technologies. And then on top of that, we are allowing that to come into our organization. So that's why I say workforce, and then also executive level. I believe that this has to start from the top. You have our top executives learning how to use these technologies. What do they do? What do we need them for? And then that education and that curiosity will trickle down into the employees. So I wonder, Anita, have you seen any security awareness trainings that work, and that is not only annual? I'm talking about continuously.
Yeah. So trickling down from the top, it's absolutely important, because getting the C-suite board members or whoever to understand the value of training within their organization is really key. And it comes down to numbers. It really does. And those numbers sometimes in small to medium-sized businesses is a really big impact. And it could really make a business go under, So really, really important. Majority of cybersecurity hacks are done because lack of employee training. Just because an employee's clicked on something and they haven't thought about it, they haven't looked. It's all done internally. That's how hacks happen today. And so employee training is huge and really needs to be done, and everyone needs to be educated. So the types of training that some of my vendors provide is ongoing training, and it's on the job training. And so we have number of phishing emails that go out. And so that's tested, who's opening what, who's reporting what. So it's all integrated within the emails sometimes, and so that they can report stuff. And then once it's reported, all the emails will be redacted if it's gone out to multiple people, and then it gets checked, and then it comes back again or whatever. And then depending on like every week or 2 weeks or however, you'll get small 3 to 4 minute videos to learn about different cybersecurity risks, how to look at different emails, what to look out for in the email addresses or down the bottom, anything that's happening, just sort of that awareness as well for staff. And that's constant, because I always feel like the yearly training that everyone does sits in a room really does not work. People are switching off. It's not being retained. And if it's done once a year, nobody's going to remember it.
Sure.
And things change so much. So the constant training, the weekly, bi-weekly, monthly awareness training of going, okay, this is what you need to be aware of. This is the things you need to look out for. Report any email that you think that's not a true email or that you think is a phishing email, just report it. Even like, so educating them on like text messages or scam calls and things like that as well. So really, really important. Lots of vendors, and lots of different vendors are doing it for different types of businesses. It's not just large scale businesses or enterprise. It's a very affordable service now as well. And it's all migrated within email, Microsoft and things like that. Very easily implemented as well. And managers can get reports and all of those good things. So you're really keeping a tight knit on who's opening what, how are they working, what's happening, how many phishing emails you're getting. And that can show you if a hacker's really watching you or not as well, right?
Yeah.
So it gives you a sense of, am I going to be hacked soon or not? You know, like, am I protecting my data?
True.
All of those things as well. But yeah, awareness training is key.
You know, it's funny that you say that. Actually, when we were talking about this earlier, I had gone to a keynote on an event that I went a few weeks ago, and exactly that is what his name is Hernan Londono, right? He was talking about how we have security awareness training for a very long time. Companies do it once a year, and you have to do it to comply. That's
Right.
one thing, and another one because you do want to spread that security awareness. But it was fascinating what he showed. He had done some research, and he had showed us the numbers. And what you could see is the amount of the increase of phishing attacks and how much money they're making by having all these attacks, and then the decrease in malware attacks, right? And then he was explaining, malware attacks, the reason maybe what they're decreasing, right, is because we have some tools in place in detecting and preventing the malware. But even, do we have enough tools for the phishing? Because it seems like people still clicking on them.
They're still clicking on it.
Exactly.
And that was so fascinating. I don't want to butcher it because actually he did a great job. And he did amazing research on that. But it made me think, we rely so much on the annual security trainings for the workforce, then what's happening is that they're not building a habit, like you mentioned. He also mentioned that it takes 28 days, and this is from factual data, 28 days to form a habit.
Yeah.
So how are you forming a habit if you're not continuously training? So I thought that was very interesting. I've been thinking about it even today. Like every day I think about it, I say, man, there has to be something that we can do. For example, I provide workshops for the community, for the workforce to reskill them, upskill them. And I had done a phishing workshop about a month ago. And then now next week, actually, I'm going to deliver one for malware, deepfakes, and AI threats. So I think that's necessary from all the way from the executive level all the way down. And that's why I know we were talking about users, but I think it's important that they know this as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And having some communication plan within the organization, right, as well. So certain transactions that need to happen or whatever. And that community, you were talking about deep fakes and things like that, right? So, sometimes a CEO or CFO is constructed and they think that, the guy's like, can you just wire this much money because this transaction's happening and it's not happening. Things like that, right?
Yeah.
So there needs to be a comms plan for certain things like that as well. Like, okay, if this type of transaction happens or this type of request comes in, this is the protocol that you need to follow to do this, just in case that there is a deep fake or whatever it may be that's happening and it's not real.
Correct.
Okay, so those things need to be put in place as well. So it's really key, yeah.
No, absolutely. That has to be added into the security
Within the awareness training.
Yes. So on. And I was gonna ask John Marie, because for the music tech side, I know that you bring a lot of awareness to the community. Can you tell me a little bit more about what you do with music tech and how you bring technology awareness to hospitality and the music industry?
What I usually say, music is everywhere. Music is life, and music connect, and technology does the same. Technology is everywhere. So what we realize, let's take an artist, right? You have inspiration, you create something. That's an asset for you. It is on your phone, on a computer, whatever. This is yours, but you also need to protect it because you own it. You create it, you own it, and you need to protect it. Okay? So we say the ecosystem should understand that when we talk about cybersecurity, it's not only for tech people; it's for everyone. You have an online account. You call people. Whatever you do online, you need to be aware that you are in an ecosystem where some people are trying to get your asset. You're trying to steal what you have. But what you do, you have to protect that. And that's awareness that we want to bring to the music industry, because we know that creativity is key now. If you are a creator, you don't know how to protect what you create, it's a big problem for you, because we want people to make a living. Let's say you are a musician, you create a song, whatever elements that you create, and you lose your fun and you lose everything.
Now you're making me think something that is very important, because artists, everyone, when we're a user and we are trusting, let's say I'm using ChatGPT to help me with creating music or poems or my writings, and I am trusting it to not only provide that service, but I'm very happy. Like, he does the job for me, helps me, creates this amazing, this amazing template for me, right? To then have to have my work be reused by someone else, and then I don't make any money, which is not fair because it's my job. So I'm talking about, like, for example, the artist. So I just think, like, that's one piece of responsibility that these companies need to take. Not only ChatGPT, but I'm talking about every company in general that you provide a service. If I'm trusting you, especially with AI, and you're using the output that I put in here to resell it, then, do you really have the best interest? But at this moment, I know it's very difficult.
It's difficult.
And, we are actually trying to figure this out. But still, the trust and responsibility and the line of ethics is very thin.
Yeah, it's all about ethical behavior, right? And then,
oh, yeah.
That crosses all different lines. So depending on the business it is and where everyone's at. So
true.
Yeah. So when we had this conversation with one of our speakers, she was like, cybersecurity in the music industry? I said, sure, it's important. And when we went to the conversation and questions that she get from the audience, she said, oh, that's fantastic. Whenever you have an event, just let me know. I'm here. So it's important to bring this conversation everywhere. At school, your son can use a phone. He needs to know. You are a professional. You need to know. You have a business. You need to know. Whatever you do, you need to know how to protect yourself.
Yeah.
That's what we bring.
But you're saying, you're saying cybersecurity in music, of course.
Of course, yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because, let's say, for example, music. Where are you were talking about data backup. Where are you backing your data? Like, where is your music, right? What about if somebody goes ahead and you have a threat comes in, they take out your intellectual property? You need to have the proper controls in place and policies.
Yeah. Everywhere.
Yeah. Even your social media account.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Let's say you have 500,000 followers. You just click, someone send you exactly. It's how you connect with your fan. So someone just sent you a link, and you open the link and get control
Oh yeah.
of your
Yes,
social
your
media
account
account.
gone.
Oh, that smashing is
And
beautiful. Yeah.
now you are out of control. People are posting.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that you? No, I have never posted that. But it's your account.
Yeah,
You know how many
account.
people have come to me and asked me, Fifi, can you actually recuperate my social media account, my
May-
Instagram, my Facebook? I'm like, baby,
It's gone. There's nothing. But I think it's down to even our individual, every us as a daily individual, right? You need to have two-factor authentication on all of your accounts,
That's
right?
right.
Don't have the same password for everything. Don't have somewhere on your desktop a Word document with all of your passwords on there. Don't do it. Don't use your date of birth or your son or your daughter's date of birth or
you're saying that I can use my puppy name?
you could no, just it's kind of those sort of things as well, right? So it's even individually, there's so much like that's cybersecurity in a sense as well, right? Someone's
True.
there's so much fraud going on right now. It's just the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So two-factor authentication, making sure that you're changing your passwords and things like that as well. That's a user perspective to really protect themselves.
Yeah, like the best practices.
Best
Right,
practices,
and
yeah.
then yes, and then so that's a user perspective, and then the businesses have to do their own, like protect their data, protect your data that they have, protect their business, their brand, all of those things. So it's like those two ways.
Oh, well, now that you're talking about that, let's talk about what are the best tips we can give our listeners in regards to being secure online. You want to start?
Okay.
Okay. So from a business perspective, for me, is really around endpoint protection for everything in your business, backups, and really that communication plan. And then the last thing I'd say is that make sure that you do have notification for your users, and if they want to opt out, make sure it works and you opt out.
Good. Yes.
And wherever you're using and sending your data, your client customers' data, make sure they're compliant as well. So compliancy.
Amazing. John Marie.
Update your devices.
Oh, that's
Update your devices. Change your password every 3-4 months. Clean up your cookies, and make sure that the website you are like the link that you receive, if you don't feel comfortable, don't open it. Do not open it. If you don't trust a website, don't click. That's what I think users should do.
And to add to yours, it's like, don't be afraid as a user. Don't be afraid to question it. Don't be afraid to ask, hey,
Yeah.
where's my data going? There's emails that they provide that you can actually contact and write an email and say, hey, I just want to know a little bit more about your practices, or maybe I just want to delete all my data, please. Like, don't be afraid. Why are you afraid
you
of?
can ask to delete. Actually, I did that the other day. Just a quick one example was that we went to go just into a shop where we were changing something, like clothing or whatever it was for my son.
Yeah.
And so it was just an exchange of sizes. And the guy was like, oh, can I what's your address?
Mhm.
And I was like, you should take anything. We did a card payment when we purchased it. No address needed. Why do you need an address for when I'm switching out? It's not doing a refund either. And I asked the question, why do you need my address? What is it used for? Because I'm just switching out a size here. That's it. There's nothing else happening. And so then he was like, oh yeah, sorry. Okay. I don't need your address. Well,
Perfect.
Right, that's
Right?
brilliant.
Exactly. That's taking responsibility.
I'm probably not going to ever go into that shop again, or it's not a pop.
That's a red flag.
I questioned like, why are you taking my details?
Yes. And you can. You see,
Yeah.
like, there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong. Nobody's going to do nothing to you. Yeah, it's not that you're being difficult.
And
You
bless him,
just-
he probably didn't even know
he
either.
probably
He just needed to do it because
Yeah.
it was on the
Probably.
system.
Yeah.
He was like,
It's
what?
probably like
Nobody
a
ever asked
checklist,
me.
like ask for the address, ask for the
Yeah.
email.
Yeah.
But you know what? Also, I think when you receive an email, usually people don't do that. Let's say you receive an email from Facebook or whatever. You need to question that. You need to look at the bottom of the email. What kind of information that you see? Is that a good address? Is that a good phone number? If you don't trust this, call. Just call to confirm that what you receive is relevant. you receive emails, that's phishing. You
That's
click
right.
on, you know,
Detection, phishing detection and
phishing
prevention as
and
well. Yeah.
prevention, exactly. So just question. If you are not sure, don't open it. Ask someone. And, you know, sometimes the hackers use subdomains or domains like that look like your provider's domain. Let's say your domain is abc.xyz, but the hacker uses like abcd.xyza. That's different.
Correct.
But
Yeah.
sometimes people they don't take care of that. They don't see that because they want to go fast. I think it's important to care about what you're
Yeah.
doing online.
I'm going to close it with my tip, which is continuous training.
Yeah.
Organizations, please, you know, add a continuous security training for your workforce. But then for users, what I will suggest is that instruct yourself. There's many different resources out there that offer free education on security awareness. YouTube is one of them. I mean, there's so many videos, you can learn so much. And there are different educational platforms that offer like short security awareness trainings. So instruct yourself so that way when you go to your next vacation, your next cruise, you are ready. You are ready. You don't have to worry. Just relax, enjoy the beach, enjoy the weather. It's fun. It's gonna be summer. So
Make sure you lock your phone too.
and phones. Thank you so much for joining us.
Sure, of
for
course,
everything.
of course.
I love it. And
Thanks for having me.
please, you're welcome. And actually, you can join us next time. We're excited to bring you our next guest for our next episode.